things are heating up in the nation's capital today. The Trump-Elon Musk breakup is in full effect. And guys, whose side are you taking in this breakup?
It's like, oh, Elon Musk hooked up Trump. It's like, okay, he's gone. And sure enough, boom, out of here.
I mean, who lasted longer, Steve Bannon or Elon Musk? I'm just saying, like, whose number do I have to delete from my phone?
Well,
which group chat do I have to leave?
Steve Bannon got kicked out like immediately. He did like 3 interviews where he's like, I'm actually inspired by Darth Vader. And then like they immediately fired him and like put Jared Kushner in charge of everything and like didn't do anything that Steve Bannon wanted to do. But Elon, they did most of like the austerity shit he wanted to the extent that they could accomplish it. I think it's funny that Elon's like big shot across the bow that confirmed this wasn't just like a minor altercation was saying that like Trump is in the Epstein files, which everyone is acting like they didn't already know this. Like this wasn't common knowledge. Yeah. Like it is like 20 years ago, but it is like just taking it at face value. It is funny. Like the idea that he found out like, okay, Trump like fucked a 14-year-old. He finds that out and he's like, that's terrible. But we could cut like $10 billion in the Department of Education. So I'm going to stay on. I'm going to keep working. He's a pedophile. And like, also his commitment to austerity isn't like that ironclad.
No, he was like, yeah, just so everyone knows, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and that's why they're not being released. And he was like, oh yeah, and that's why I was happy to work for his government. That's why I was happy to give him $250 million to be president.
He said that like 20 minutes after he said, I'm the reason he was elected. And it's like, okay. Yeah.
I'm the reason this whoremongering pedophile was elected. But Felix, to that point, like when he said, when Musk says, he's the reason, I'm the reason he was elected. And he's like, oh, the ingratitude. It's just like, who did you think you were giving this money to? Philip Green of the Tangiers Casino. Whether you are Elon Musk, you are one of Trump's contractors for his golf courses or buildings, one of his lawyers, like, sure, he wouldn't be in the position he'd be in without you. But once he's in that position and doesn't need you anymore, you can go fuck yourself. Like, you gave him that money so he can be president. Now he's president. What more do you have to offer him?
Yeah, like if only there was like an example of this happening 400,000 times during Trump 1. Past performance is no indicator of future performance, but Jesus Christ, it might have been here. I'm having flashbacks like the first month of this when people are like, oh, it was cope that people thought there would be a Trump-Musk breakup. And I thought, like, why? Like, it's happened with every single person who has been in Elon's position. Like they have more common goals than the last ones, but it's still like 2 insane idiots. This was always going to happen. I actually thought it was going to happen later in the game. My prediction was like post midterms, but to people with like these kinds of personalities, and also an important piece of context, an article did come out that was like, this guy is a drug addict that pisses himself.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. These aren't people who have stable relationships, either of them.
Yeah. Trump was on Truth Social. He was posting today, quote, Elon was, in quotes, wearing thin, which I think is a stab at his fatness and is taking weight loss drugs.
Isn't it perfect that they're both like the same type of fat, and they're both,
yes,
like, the other guy's fatter. Like,
well, we'll get to the Curtis Yarvin profile in a second, which is another preoccupation of the right wing at the moment, is how fat or skinny they relatively are to other people.
I relate to him on that so much.
Yeah,
I really do.
He says Elon was, quote, wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. And then he says the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. So
That's a good point. Yeah.
okay, like what are some really petty things that Trump should do to Elon Musk in this breakup? Like, what are some ways that they can continue to like be catty and spite each other? Because it seems like Trump has the upper hand here. I would personally, and a lot of people have been suggesting this, and I'd just like to put my cosign down on this. I would like to see Donald Trump immediately deport all those fat white South Afrikaners.
Yeah.
that he
Oh
just
my God.
imported to
Yeah.
this country.
Send them to El Salvador.
Yeah, and send
Yeah.
Elon Musk to El Salvador too while you're at it.
I have a good one. We could get, you know how like I talked about how the F-22's only air-to-air kill was against that Chinese balloon.
Yeah.
Well, how
Yeah,
about we up those numbers? We have anti-satellite missiles. Just take out all the Starlink.
Yes.
satellites. These cost too much. They're not good. It's causing space debris. Barron's Astronomy Club is affected. We have anti-satellite missiles. We never use them. Let's get some use out of them.
Well, we have a whole space force now. I mean, what do they exist
Yeah.
for if not to protect this country from the rogue Boer satellites?
Space
Kill
Force
the
was
Boer
weird.
and his satellites.
Yeah, obviously the main stuff is like taking away the subsidies, but I like make it so Ozempic is like a Schedule 1 drug.
Matt, do you think there's anything Elon Musk could do to get back at Trump for the breakup? Like, is there anyone he could cheat on him with or be seen in public with that would make the big man jealous?
I mean, the grimace, obviously. You know, stepping off the Mayor McCheese. Very, very heartbreaking.
I found a great new constitutional conservative. He used to work with the Mayor McCheese, who is another friend of mine.
But like, okay, so like, Elon Musk, he's posting stuff about like, does anyone think that we need a new political party that serves the 80% of the middle of this country? And here's the thing. There's a huge opportunity here for the Democrats with like, the Abundance Festival, the Welcome Festival. Get Elon Musk, bring him back into the tent. We're trying to grow the tent. And I think the Democrats, there's a wonderful opportunity to include Elon Musk in the tent. Because here's the thing. Don't you find that Elon Musk and everything he believes in would find a more natural fit in the current Democratic Party than the current Republican one?
I mean, he was a Democrat.
Yeah. He's Tony Stark.
It's like, yeah. Like, I don't think he would do that. I was thinking a lot about like Elon's trajectory. I had dinner with my brother last night. We were talking about this. I think it's like he's too proud to like, calm down and go to any party after this. He'll still probably fund candidates, but it's like, I think one of the most important things in the whole Elon Musk trajectory in the last like 5 years was they had to take him on a trip to Auschwitz. And like having to go to a trip to Auschwitz that like the ADL is making you go on as like a 51-year-old man is so fucking embarrassing. That's like the type of thing they make you do if you're like Keela Tequila and you're like, I love Hitler.
It's what Dave Portnoy did to those guys who sent the fuck the Jews thing to his VIP
it's not something that happens to like a real person. It happens to like Justin Bieber when he's like 17 and he's like, Anne Frank would have been a believer. It's like you don't do it like when you do it to an adult, that's humiliating. And I think that like he doesn't want those kinds of strictures again. I think he would like entertain some abundance Democrats, but it is like, I mean, like policy wise, I'm sure like he could find some common ground with Jake Osh's loss. But I mean, his ideology is kind of like Trump's in that there like is no ideology. It's amorphous. It's just like whatever he sees on Twitter. But I guess if you just kept giving him subsidies, that would be fine.
To me, I think the most telling thing here about Musk's psychology and pharmacological habits is that he's clearly so blitzed and like high on his own supply that I think he began to believe that he was more popular than Donald Trump is.
Absolutely.
And that he was more, and not only that he was more powerful than Donald Trump is. But the thing is, like, as I said at the beginning, like, you already made him president. Like, what more can you do for the guy? And like, clearly, like, I just think like he's got his fan base, but he's not the most popular boy in school. That is still the big man, DJ Trump.
And he soaked up a lot of what would have been Donald Trump's unpopularity in the second term. Like I said sort of towards the beginning that if there was a split, it would be Musk initiated because he would maybe realize that part of his job, after giving him hundreds of millions of dollars, would be to be like the Sin Eater. Like, we found a guy who's so annoying, he will be the locus of everyone's criticism. And
like, will be the front man for all the really unpopular cuts that they're going to make,
Yes,
like government
exactly.
services and entitlements and things like that. Yeah.
The gross ketamine drip afflicted face of austerity. I don't think he's caught on to that, because you're right. Like, he clearly thinks we're the two most popular people in the country, me and him.
And like, you know, I think a lot of this, I mean, like the real breakup began over Musk sort of publicly denouncing the big, beautiful bill. And, you know, like, this is like the speculation is because, like, in the big, beautiful bill, they are revoking tax credits for electric cars and, like, are no longer going to be doing, like, carbon offsets for Tesla, which is probably going to lose the company billions of dollars. By the way, their stock price just crashed about 11 or 14% the last time I checked.
They're down 16% for the day last saw.
Okay, well,
God.
you know, I think he's about to get him and his shareholders are about to get a lesson in who is actually the most popular boy in school. I don't know. I mean, like, and he was also posting, like, memo to Republicans, like, Donald Trump has 3 years left in office, but I'll be here for another 40 years at least. And I'm like, not at the rate you're going, Elon. You gotta pace yourself.
It's just so, like, inartful. Like, you remember every time there was, like, a big thing about the Koch brothers, they would be like, we're just political donors like anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, we don't control anyone. And Elon is just like, make me your god who funds this entire party and dictates every policy for the next 40 years, for the rest of my life.
You know, it's
like,
funny.
Even if they want to do that, now they can't, because you're basically saying any candidate that aligns with me is just my proxy. You're voting for me.
And like that's certainly interesting in light of Citizens United, where it feels like the Koch brothers is such an interesting contrast with Elon Musk, because you're right. Like, the billions that they spent on politics and, like, you know, like the purchase that they bought over our democracy, you're right, was like they would put their name on Lincoln Center, but they would never want to be in front of a camera. They didn't even want people knowing their names for the most part. And you're right. Like, when asked about them just buying outright, like through various super PACs and like lobbying groups or whatever, influence over the political system, they would just say, like, I'm just a normal citizen. I'm just
a citizen who's giving the candidates and policies I like.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just writing a check to a candidate that I support. You know, nothing weird about that. Whereas Elon is now openly saying, I gave you $250 million to win the election and do everything I tell you to. Like, he's not doing what I wanted him to and what I bought. He's like, it's like he's complaining to customer service about the defective product.
And it's like any candidate he supports in the future, it's just, they're openly saying, I am totally beholden to this guy. And, well, guess who is dumb enough to jump on that? I don't know if you saw the
Ron DeSantis
hack email. Ron was like, yes, I will take that deal. I will be publicly known as your thrall, Elon. The Ron pack, that's literally what it's, you know, it's one of those stupid, like, Jeb name packs where it's like, you know, renewing our America, or our nation.
Renewing our nation, I believe.
Yeah, some stupid acronym like that. And he said the email was, Elon Musk led the charge and took all the hits, and now he's being cast aside. So Ron sees, like, a bright future in everyone just knowing him as Elon's slave, and Casey, like, having to get cum mailed to her every 3 years by Elon.
Well, I don't know, Matt. Where do you think Elon goes from here, Matt?
Suicide. I'm sorry, accidentally suicide. So, you know, take him off the landing, I guess. Ketamine overdose. You know, in Roman fashion, fall on your sword. By the way, I battle my mind. You selling short in Tesla. She's like, Trump wins election by line. It's like, oh, it's like clockwork. I hope that my broker will you know, work it out, please, because, like, I have no idea how the stock market works, but that is doomed. Spelled doomed, like capital doom.
Yeah, without the tax credits and the carbon offsets.
And, like, brand name too, just like,
yeah, his Mickey Mouse car company is just taking a bath right now. Yeah.
And like, the people that bought Teslas for the most part were like libs who wanted EVs and, like, thought Elon Musk was epic. And there's still, like, I guess you can get, like, now the people I see driving Teslas are like success win guys who finance them. But it's like, how good of a market is that? Would you rather have, like, liberal lawyers and professors who just buy the cars outright? or like this weird like
drop shipping crypto amphetamine addicts who are financing it.
How many of those guys are there really? And it like ties the fate of your car company to like how cheap money is at any given moment. If your market is like 19-year-olds who are eager to borrow $70,000 to buy a car, it's not a very stable consumer base.
And not to mention that, like, when your brand has created another brand in like another market for bumper stickers for like embarrassed libs who have to like be like, I bought the car before I knew he was Hitler. I mean, like, imagine driving a Mercedes in the 1940s and like, I bought this car before I knew it was the Fuhrer's favorite automobile.
I bought this Volkswagen before the Anschluss.
This will certainly bear watching how this breakup pans out, but it has been pretty funny, and I'm hoping for the worst for both parties.